Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Tarikat means way. Tarikat, it means way. And the way is back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have been created for Him, for His sake. We have been sent to the world to find our way back to Him. And the tarikat, it is to make this search and this way to be quicker and to be faster. The sohbet is association. You find a way. There are 40 ways, 41 ways. From that, hundreds of different subdivisions. They are not sects. Don't believe all these wrong words that they're putting into Islam and the Muslims, and you're saying, oh, these are sects. No. Sects is when you have one group fighting against the other group. That group saying, no, we are right, you are not right. The other group saying, no, we are right, you are not right. No. It's when with Shiism, then they start splitting. Those are sects. Because the 5ers not believing in the 7ers, 7ers not believing in the 12ers, Hakkani is this, that, everyone is. But with the Ahl Sunnah wa Jamaat, you have one umbrella, and underneath, you may find your own spot under that umbrella. It's okay. Under Ahl Sunnah wa Jamaat, 4 mazhabs, they're all under that. They're not fighting with each other. With the 4 mazhabs that are dealing with Shariat, then you have 40 tarikats that will give you that capacity to understand the Shariat and to understand the Shariat of the Spirit much deeper. And that's when you have this tarikat, turuk, tarikat. And everything can be traced back to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, back to Hazrati Ali and Hazrati Abu Bakr Siddiq. Now you have a tarikat, sohbet, association. Sohbet is what makes a person to take what is necessary from the tarikat. Because a person can be inside the tarikat, but he can be completely alone. He can be too slow. He can be deviating too. But if you're in sohbet, if you're in association, now you are going to be together. The sohbet is what made those ones who were burying their children alive in the hot sands of Arabia to become sahabis, companions of the Prophet ﷺ, because they were in sohbet with Peygamber Efendi ﷺ. You understand? Now, in order to get the full benefit for this, bayat. What is the bayat? The bayat that is in tarikat, let me explain very simply. It is imitation, a sunnat meaning, of the bayatul ridwan that the Holy Prophet ﷺ did with all the Sahabe Kiram, where they pledge allegiance to him and they say, we will obey you, we will not question you. And the bayatul ridwan, it is a very well known open event in Islamic history that they wanted to make the Hajj, and Hazrat Osman was sent to negotiate. And now all the Sahabis, they said, we are strong in numbers, why don't we just go in and force our way? And the Prophet ﷺ has already taken bayat with them, and he's saying, everyone's hands, my hand is on top of everyone's hands. My hand is on top of Hazrat Osman's hand because he was absent that time, and Allah's hand is on me. And that's when Holy Prophet ﷺ said, they're not giving us permission to enter, but it is accepted. They were all in ihram. It is accepted. Shave your head, cut one animal. And we're going to return the next year. And the next year was the conquest of Mecca. You understand? So bayat now, it is to take a promise now. It is to obey. The same way that we took an obedience and an oath of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of promises, on alastu bi rabbikum, on the day of promises when everyone was just a spirit, And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us, am I not your Lord? Alastu bi rabbikum, and we said, qalu bala. Yes, indeed. We took that promise. That in the ayat of Amana Rasul, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in that ayat, that is the ayat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to the Holy Prophet ﷺ directly without Hazrati Jibreel alayhi salam. That happened in the night of Mi'raj. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying what? Amana Rasul. This is what the prophets and the believers, they say in the last couple of ayats of Surah Al-Baqarah. Sami'na wa ata'na. Gufranaka Rabbana wa ilaykal masir. We hear and we obey. Forgive us, our Lord. And to you is our return. The believer looks at that. To say, we hear and we obey. Forgive us. And we're returning back to you. Because now it comes to belief. Not religion, belief. So many may have religion. They may pray. They may fast. They may do so many things. But you look to see, what are you being busy with? What concerns you? What is occupying you? What are your hopes and your ambitions? Majority, this is dunya. You say, you're not worried about akhirat? No, I pray 5 times a day. Why should I be worried? If we only know. So now, that's necessary now for us to come back to ourselves and to understand what is our spiritual journey. It's a very long journey. And to hold on tightly to those ones who are representing the Prophet. The bayat is to who? Of course, all our promises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah is saying in the Quran al-Karim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, obey Allah, obey the Prophet, and obey your rightly guided leaders. There is a protocol to that obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a protocol to our shahadat. You cannot just say La ilaha illallah without Muhammad Rasulullah. It is not accepted. It is not complete. You understand? So now the bayat are to those ones who are inheritors of the prophets. Scholars is something else. The inheritors of the Prophet is something else. The warisul nabi, warisul anbiya. And you will see them step by step. They are following the way of the Prophet ﷺ. Prophet ﷺ doesn't gather. He did not gather all his sahabis to give them notes, to give them papers, to give them books, to give them conferences. What did he give them? Sohbet. To sit and to speak. And the Prophet ﷺ may speak to 10, he may speak to 1,000 people. He knows their hearts. He knows what is needed. Those inheritors of the prophets, they are also informed. Now they have to give what is necessary to that gathering now. May Allah make our prayers and our intentions and our actions to be acceptable. We are not claiming anything. I'm not claiming anything. We're saying certain things that we've seen and we've experienced with our Seyh that is bringing us light. And we are holding up in this complete darkness to say those who want, take. Those who don't want, don't take. Be comfortable. But we will see what's going on.